Welcome to the Many Worlds Podcast. Listener discretion is advised. This anthology is a work of fiction. Any characters, events, and businesses have been fictionalized or completely fabricated. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental, or happened in an alternate dimension.
Big Bad Wolf. The truck's engine clattered like bones in a sack, steady and unashamed, carrying me down the last stretch into Blackwater Falls. I'd driven these roads before, but tonight the city feels awake. It breathes, it waits, it remembers. The river whispers her name. Elsie. I was once a dog on a chain, cursed, a tool for the powerful to wield. The city wasn't just a place. It was a presence. It breathed. It waited. It remembered. Like greeting a friend you're not sure won't kill you. Blackwater wore many faces. By daylight, it was the respectable smile of the banker and the sway of the college student on the bridge. At dusk, it became a sermon spoken through neon lights, a hymn sung by the broken, the lost, the hungry. The well-to-do in their high windows, the out-of-touch on their pedestals, the drifters wandering alleys. They all played their parts. A shining city, rusting beneath its paint, still clawing for relevance in a world that's forgotten what relevance means. And underneath, a distorted old heartbeat, older than the bricks and mortar. Alchemists once whispered their secrets here. Old vampires carved their dominion from its shadows. That current never left. It swells still, an occult undertow tugging at every step, every breath. Maybe that's why I feel it so sharply now. Reborn, I can hear the city differently. Cosmically, I know it. Blackwater Falls clings close to the spiral road, one of those rare crossroads where the world thins and the hidden leaks through. To most, it's just another dot on the map. To me, it's a place to lay my hat, a dangerous home, but mine all the same. Meridian needs me to be the midnight, but having a presence like mine can help and hurt. With a past as an ex-CIA asset, a pawn to a witch cult, and the half-divine son of a liminal primordial who walks the crossroads, and an earthly witch, my very presence is a liability in a small town teeming with the supernatural, the cursed, and the different. Tonight, the streets shine wet under a thin moon, shadows stretching long and hungry, like something waiting just beyond the lamplight. That's when Hattie May, the green witch who raised Meridian from the old crossroads, asked me to consult on a case bound to stir up graves and rattle cages, a case that'll make enemies I haven't met yet. Lucky me. I pulled up to the downtown police station and immediately knew my black ass was in over my head. Most of these cops were corrupt or dumb as fuck. Here I am, a dude who's got buckets of blood on his hands walking their perfect marbled floors to consult. If Julian were here, he'd laugh at the irony. Things have been weird around here since a few cops went missing. There was a whole-ass investigation. Turns out every one of them who went missing was dirty, linked with drugs and prostitution. Much more than just a simple collection racket, Detective Malone said to me. I'm not sure why he was telling me this, but clients always want to talk around the problem. I don't blame him. I just sit in the steel-framed chair in his office with the blinds closed. He's standing, holding a cup of coffee. Is that so? I said. I could feel the currents of arcane energy flowing through this part of the city. So I doubted these missing cops ran afoul of the cartels or rival street gangs. The funny part is, all the other dirty officers got spooked and quit. It sucks that we had to pull extra shifts, But damn did it feel good to get rid of the fucking cancers sucking the soul out of the department, Detective Malone said. He was an average-sized white guy with a beard and slightly thinning brown hair. I could smell the Rogaine and Aqua Velva from the hallway. My heightened senses of smell, taste, and sound can drive me nuts sometimes. But most days I appreciate the gifts from the divine side of my lineage. I live a weird and interesting life. So is a lack of manpower why I'm here, Detective Malone? 'Cause that's not the kind of private contractor I am, I said. I put my hands behind my head and affected an amiable smile. No, I asked for the best. Not some crunchy granola psychic with incense and fucking tarot cards. Some dummies in the department think those people are legit. I know different. I asked Hattie Mae for someone with real presence. Funny thing is, Mr. Crow, a couple of years ago I would have said the supernatural hocus pocus was all bullshit. But I caught a case that changed all that. Ran across a vamp, and I got the scars on my back to prove it. No offense, I asked for Calamity, Malone said apologetically. Calamity is off doing her own thing right now, I said. Honestly, Calamity wasn't even on Earth. She's off doing some Vorkani's shit. I wasn't invited to the big island between worlds. There is a council of rulers who've heard the stories about me. What can I say? I've got a reputation. Not to worry, Detective Malone. I live in that world. Hey, if Hattie says you're good for this, I have no reason to think otherwise. Let me bring you up to speed. We've got a 1-year-old kid missing for 6 days. Mother says she was jumped in a supermarket parking lot and someone took the kid. She's got a black eye and a contusion on the back of the head consistent with blunt force trauma. Shitty. Are you looking at anyone for it? I asked. Father was at home at the time. He can't prove it. A kidnapped baby boy lights a fire under everyone's ass around here. I'm the lucky son of a bitch who caught the case, so I do some investigating. There are cameras all around Ralph's supermarket, and I comb through that day's footage. Guess who I don't see? The mother. What's her name? I asked. Brenda? No priors. But she used to be a party girl. I don't see Brenda's car, not once. I notice the dad is acting odd. No eye contact. Overly aggressive when I ask questions. Plus, I noticed some bruises on his hands, so I get the feeling in my gut, you know. I fucking hate this job sometimes. Saunders down the hall is investigating some dude that got hit by a goddamn car. He'll arrest an old lady who has dementia. Meanwhile, I've got this fucking Dateline case. I have to close this case fast. That sucks. Things are nicer in the private sector. I get paid better and get to say no if I don't like the case, I said. Missing child cases are the worst. You never know how you're gonna react. Malone had kids. I could see the pictures of them on his wall. There's a rumor in the hood that Brenda was with someone. We had DNA come back. The kid ain't his. That sent Hector over the edge. He said the scratches and bruises are from him punching a wall. My gut says that's bullshit. After 48 hours, my assumption is the kid is dead and mom and dad had something to do with it. Or they know who did. I make my suspicions known, and they clam up. I want to close this case, Mr. Crow. People are rightly upset and there is a lot of talk. Yesterday, a group of men put a homeless guy in the ICU because he panhandles at the supermarket sometimes. Well, Malone, I do not envy you. I mean, I'm flattered you asked, but I don't see why you need someone like me. Back in the day, cops would take you somewhere secluded and beat a guy with oranges wrapped in towels so you didn't bruise too easy. I'm the boogeyman, Detective Malone. People call me when things get supernatural, I said. Hold your horses, Kemosabe. There is a wolf in this story. Malone smiled. I arch an eyebrow at the chunky cop. He should have led with that, and I'd tell him so. A real pro, huh? All right. There is a wolf that prowls the farmlands and forests a few miles outside of town. A deer is found half-eaten, or a dog goes missing. I decided that if it left people alone, then whatever it wants, it can have. I barely survived my encounter with the leech. Back to the story. Brenda has been seen in the company of a tall, dark, and handsome guy with long hair. He's a native from the Ottawa tribe and has been around the city longer than I can remember. What do you bet he's the real father? If the wolf comes looking for revenge, everyone in this police station is dead, Malone said. The pieces clicked in my head. I wondered if I was strong enough to take on a wolf. I'd never met one before, but rumors were that they were brutal. I'm not ashamed to say a fight like that would not go in my favor. Maybe. No, Malone was right. The body had to be found tonight, because tomorrow was a full moon. And as far as I know, cops don't carry silver bullets. Who knew if silver could really kill one? Calamity once told me about one of her encounters. She told me if I came across one fully transformed, to run. Run as fast as you can. I'd like to talk to Mama Brenda, Malone. I play by a different set of rules here, Detective. Hattie asked me to come here to make sure our world does not get exposed. Trust me, you don't want an alchemist anywhere near this town. They tend to go scorched earth. So you okay with me doing things my way? As long as you don't leave a visible mark, I don't care what happens to them. This is all subhuman behavior in my book. There are lines you don't cross, Malone said, putting down his mug that had a golf ball on the handle. Oh, I can scare the fuck out of them without leaving a mark. These idiots sound like they're missing chromosomes. Dumb people scare easy, I said, standing up out of my creaky, uncomfortable chair. We walked through the station to interview room 2. It's got a large white steel door that locks from the outside. Brenda is a white lady in her mid-30s with brown roots and streaks of blonde hair. Handcuffed to the table and staring at nothing, she's got a nasty black eye, just like Malone said. Even before he opens the door, I can smell the alcohol wafting off her. It makes me wonder if she's hungover yet or still drunk. An oversized white t-shirt and a pair of gray sweatpants complete her ensemble. So, Brenda, this is Mr. Crow. He's an outside contractor who needs to ask you some questions. Can you answer them as honestly as you can? Malone said, doing an exquisite job at being good cop. My estimation of the man ticked up a few notches. I already told you everything, Brenda whined, looking up. Then she went back to hiding behind her bangs. You like to party, Brenda? I asked, making no pretense at niceness. I told him, I go to work, then I go get my kid from my mom's. Go home. I don't know why you're treating me like a fucking criminal when the person that took my kid is still out there. Really? Out there? I said. Man, it's a whole lot of evil in this world. Cops don't be knowing shit. This is a waste of my time. When can I go? So you don't stop off at the bar after work? Have a vodka and tonic? Maybe see a certain regular? Malone asked. This is what I think happened. And Malone, stop me if I'm wrong. Been lying about who the real daddy is. Hell, I bet you let him pick the name. Played Susie Homemaker for a while, and Hector believes it's his kid. But after a year of playing nice, old habits start to surface. And one night your dumbass told Hector Manny wasn't his son. I'm just snowballing here, but you told Hector and he fucked you up because of it. By the way, the DNA came back and we know. So you should stop lying and tell me about the wolf, I growled. Brenda smacked her lips and I got real close. Man, you can't be asking me questions without a lawyer. I saw that shit on TV. Tell me about the wolf, I said. Wolf? What the hell is this fucker talking about? She said. One moment I look like a normal human being, smiling, leaning over the table. The next I show her my shadow form, the monster from your nightmares. People's reactions to an all-black creature wrapped in shadow never fail to amuse me. Did you see that shit? She shrieked. See what? Malone asked. Obviously he saw. "This motherfucker," Brenda stammered. "What happened to Manny?" I growled, even though I knew I wasn't prepared for it. After her confession, I exchanged a look with Malone. "What do you want to do next, Chief?" He shrugged. "Let's go talk to dear old Dad," I said. Across the hall was interview room 1. Malone took me into the first room and introduced me to Hector. "Hey Hector, this is Mr. Crow. He has a few questions for you, just to follow up. Now, you are using your right to remain silent at this time, but if you feel the need to speak, you can say it to him right here. I'm gonna step out into the hallway and grab a cup of coffee." "All right, Mr. Crow, please make sure you follow the rules we set," Malone said. He knew there were no motherfucking rules whatsoever, especially with an animal like this. I looked at Hector for a moment, then closed my eyes. I could smell fear on him. I could hear his heart hammering in his chest. His face looked calm. In the back of my mind, I could see through Datura's eyes, circling above the police station, probably looking at this situation through my eyes as well, wondering how it was all going to play out. Did she understand the machinations of humans, the wickedness, or did she only care about me and eating food? I noticed the old pickup truck sitting outside the station. Datura swooped down closer, landing on a street light. A guy with long, dark hair was behind the wheel, staring up at the police station. "Well, hello, Mr. Wolf. Got a lot of people searching for your baby." "What's the baby's name?" I asked. "Manuel," Hector said. "Your pride and joy?" I asked. Hector nodded. "I had a little peek at your priors. Long sheet, lots of tough guy bullshit, huh? Tell me, do you usually beat on your pride and joy? I see your wife took a beating, and the police have been called on you before for domestic dispute. You like to abuse people, Hector? Man, they got it all wrong. I didn't hit that bitch. She tell you that?" "She asked me to discipline the kids," he said. "Discipline is a fist, Hector? Tell the truth and shame the devil, boy. There was one time they called the cops on me. He was choking on something, so I had to give him, what's the word? Resuscitation." "Resuscitation? You had to resuscitate him by beating a 4-year-old with a fucking belt? That was the oldest, right? God knows what you're like with a kid you know isn't yours, Hector." I stared down at him. I could hear his heartbeat speed up. He wanted to throw hands real bad. I had a different idea. As I spoke, I pulled out my blue bandana, knotting it tight. Then I made another knot lower. Then a third and held it in front of him. "You know what this is, Hector? It's a fucking bandana, man. So fucking what?" he said. "It's a lie detector. Because what I'm gonna do is shove these 3 knots down your throat. And then, slowly but surely, I'm gonna start pulling them back out. You won't die, but you'll sure as hell wish you did." I stepped closer to Hector, and as I got closer, everything changed. My body, my clothes, my leather coat, brown pants, gray boots, belt, all of it turned black, just like my skin. I stood there, staring like a fucking demon. They called me a monster, but even I know you don't hurt family and children. No place in my worldview for that kind of shit, Hector screamed. I grabbed him by the throat and shoved my blue bandana down his mouth. He choked and gargled, spit leaking out his mouth. His breath stank of beer and something acrid like meth or cocaine. Hector was handcuffed to the steel table, so he wasn't going anywhere. He started crying before I even got the first knot down his throat. What a bitch. Okay, I'll take you to him. That what you want, the body? Hector choked, eyes wide with fear. All right, but if you're fucking me around here, Hector, I'm gonna kill you. No one's gonna stop me. I'll feed you to the wolf and watch him eat your fucking heart. Malone looked like he'd eaten some bad seafood when I told him everything that transpired in the interview room. He assured me he'd cut the cameras. I assured him it didn't matter. No camera is gonna pick up my transformation. Hattie Mae gave me a grizz-gree charm I wear under my shirt. My face is just a distortion on any type of electronic surveillance. Look, Malone, the wolf's outside, full moon tomorrow. Right now, he's running on pure instinct. He'll be strongest then, but we're talking only fractional. Tonight he's almost there, just can't pull the full change. In my world, you don't fight a wolf or an alchemist. You get me? I'm with you, boss. I'm scared enough. Is he gonna come at us? Malone ran his fingers through his hair. I sighed. I really didn't want to do this. But I owe Hattie. I owe Lucy and the whole town of Meridian. I would have died without every person in that little town, even if they didn't know it. That's why I'm out in the world. Well, that, and because I am an agent of Aneth, the goddess of the crossroads. Meridian really belongs to her. And that's why I said, I'm going to go talk to him. If I don't come back, I'd wait a couple of days. Malone tried to summon a smile, but looked like he ate a frog. I turned and walked into the night. The door of the station closed behind me, and Malone's words were still gnawing at my skull. Dirty cops. Missing cops. A department more rotten than the morgue downstairs. I was still trying to decide if I was supposed to be their consultant or their goddamn cleanup crew. The Wolf's truck was a Ford out of the 50s or 60s, great condition, smelled like the musky scent only a canine could give off. Something wild and untethered to the laws of man. He wore cologne. There was an air freshener, and the stale fragrance of cigarettes. Still, I knew a hunter when I approached one. Every fiber of my being was saying, maybe you bail. This ain't a good idea, Elias. But I tend to suppress the fear so the job can get done. That's when Datura swooped out of the night and landed on the hood of the Wolf's truck with a thud. Well, fuck, I muttered. Because what I really needed tonight was to piss off a werewolf a breath before the full moon. She stretched herself out, smug as sin, and then shifted into a big black cat. Tail flicking, eyes burning. She stared right at him like she'd been waiting her whole life for this showdown. God damn it, Datura, I hissed low. Can't give me 5 minutes to process without lighting another fuse, huh? The wolf sat in his truck, unmoving at first. Long hair, beard, an Ottawa warrior carved out of scars and years. Power rolled off him in waves, animal heat and supernatural gravity, impossible to miss. He leaned forward, gaze fixed on her. What are you? Datura arched, hissed, tail snapping like a whip. Wild, protective, young. Elsie's gift, and just as reckless. She didn't fear anyone, and that made her dangerous as hell, and impossible not to love. A glance at the mirror told me he'd already clocked me walking across the lot. I didn't slow. In for a penny, in for a pound. And the wolf? He almost smiled, like he found her defiance charming. I'm going to stay a few feet away. I just came to talk. I don't want any problems, I said. You ain't human. Like me. That your cat eyeballing me? Name is Daniel Maingan. What do you want? The wolf said. Yeah, badass there belongs to me. Hector's going to take us. They are looking for the body. We live in a world filled with humans that can't know about wolves and magic. None of this shit can be known definitively. That's why I'm here, I said. So Hector and Brenda go to jail? That's not the justice I know. There are laws older than what these pale-skinned invaders brought here. He made eye contact with me. It felt like pressure weighing down on me. Honestly, I want to kill them myself. But it's got to look right in the eyes of normal people. I gotta ask, what would possess you to breed with that brain-addled bitch up there? Sometimes I say things before I realize it came out. Yet to my surprise, he laughed. I was like this, close to the change when it happened. I was playing bouncer at a local club. She wanted me. and I wanted to fuck or maybe rip her throat out and feel the hot spray all over my face. It's confusing this close to the full moon. I realized what I had done and tried to get her straight, but some folks don't want to be saved. Hector and her are the perfect combination of stupid and cruel. The more they tear down each other, the more they pump their poison into the world. Let the cops do a by-the-book crime scene. Whatever you do later to Hector and Brenda is none of my business, I said. He stared out his windshield for what felt like an eternity. Then he nodded, started his truck, and drove away. An hour and a half later, we were at a rest stop off I-96. I made sure to drive my beat-up Ford F-150. I stood with Detective Malone as Hector walked with his head down, 2 beat cops on either side. Hector made a big deal about not wanting to be shackled. That worked. I followed behind them. Behind the building, there was a dumpster. That's where they found the baby, wrapped in his blankets. Hector had said the baby was a demon, unholy. Malone ordered him taken back to the squad car. As the officers turned to take Hector away, the wolf came charging, knocking both of them out of the way, then was gone. Hector ran. I changed form and followed, Datura on high, giving me her bird's-eye view. The police lost their shit, all running into the woods. It was already too late. The wolf was hurting Hector. I moved like a shadow, heart pounding, thrilled by the hunt, overcome by the wind in my hair and the thirst for revenge. One well accustomed to the night. The wolf leapt from the underbrush. I could see the half-man wolf clip Hector's arm. I also heard the snap as he hit the ground. I could see the wolf circling. I made sure Hector could see me and, in one movement, grabbed him by his neck and stood him up. His arm hung at an unnatural angle, chunks missing. "You gotta help me, man. You can't let it kill me. I gotta pay my debt to society, right?" Hector begged. "Did Manny beg? Did you have mercy on any of the kids? I won't do not a damn thing for you," I growled at him, then let him drop. The wolf rushed in, biting his shoulder and dragging Hector into the shadows. Its eyes glowed in the moonlight. "You can't get to Brenda. I'll do her. Make it look like an accident. It ain't ideal, but that's the law, isn't it?" "Law of the wild," I said. The wolf seemed to agree. At least, I took the growl as acquiescence and dragging the crying Hector into the woods as agreement. Back at the police station, I saw Datura circling above. Mentally, I called her down, gave her instructions to wait in the public areas. When I saw her slip inside, I called on my shadow form. I became invisible, a walker between worlds. That's one of the benefits of being nursed by a primordial being. Elias Crow, the psychopomp, a being that is a guide to the dead. But I wasn't that man in that moment. No, I had another name. One whispered by witches and monsters on the fringes of the dark. Wickham. I stepped into Brenda's cell. I wanted to beat her. Instead, I became visible and picked her up by her fucking neck. Legs dangled in the air. All tears. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You're sick enough to help cover up your child's death. Then you have it coming. I wrapped a bedsheet around her neck, tying it to the door so it looked like she'd done it herself. Then with one hand, I snapped her neck. Invisible again, I slipped out of the police station. Datura flew above me, whispering her approval through the bond. On my way out of town, I called Malone. "Looks like Brenda just committed suicide," I said. "What a fucking shame. Hector is in pieces. His heart is missing. We're calling it a freak bear attack," Detective Malone said. "What a fucking shame," I said, and hung up. Never been able to stop an active shooter. I'm sure politicians have people who protect them from someone like me. I couldn't stop the crime, but I could make sure they didn't continue breathing air. Fuck the consequences. I dare you to tell me I'm wrong. Sometimes to serve justice, you have to break the law. The Many Worlds Podcast. TheManyWorldsPodcast.com. Merch now, stickers soon. We're on all your podcast services. Follow on YouTube if you feel inclined. And as always, don't look behind you.